Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for clicking on the video. We got a special one today. I put a poll out on my community section on my channel, and I asked, out of what 3 frames would you like to see on my next video? It was Banshee, Ureli, or Vauban, and you guys overwhelmingly voted for Vauban, or as I like to call him, Vaubenheimer. So let's talk about the build. The first thing I want to notate that this is a shield gating build utilizing the new catalyzing shields mod. Now, why it's important is after the changes with the Abyss of Dagath update, shield gating got completely kind of reworked, and without having to go into a whole section of this video explaining it, the short answer is if you have at least 350 shields, you're going to have 0.33 seconds. However, when you have catalyzing shields, you get that original 1.33 seconds that was before the update. Now, the thing is the more shields you have, the longer that duration will be, up to 2.5 seconds, and I think you need 1150 shields to get that. Now, that is just not going to work with this build. There's way too much you need to get this one going. So this is actually kind of the first build I've actually used utilizing this mod, and it is super duper good because this is an ability heavy spam build. Now with that in mind, of course, for the ore slot, you're going to have Brief Respite. This is a mandatory mod for shield gating. If you don't own it, you can just buy it for about 10 plat in the trade. It's super easy. I think Nora's Nightwave sells it too for that currency when it eventually comes around. So get that way if you don't already own it. Now we're going to talk about the abilities really quick, namely Tesla Nervos. You'll see that this is actually applying electric shocks, which is going to be really helpful when you utilize the mod Archon Stretch. Even though we have Prime Flow, this is again an ability heavy build, so any way to regen energy, whether that's Equilibrium, Archon Stretch, etc., you're going to want to have your energy up so that you can continue your shield gating no matter what. Now, I actually took Office 2 and replaced it with Tempest Barrage. That is what's kind of making this build really, really fun with the ability spam. It's another ability that's really easy to replenish your shield gate, and it goes really well into his 4th skill as well, which does have an armor strip, and Tempest Barrage actually hastens that thanks to Hydrate's rework that also came out with the Abyss of Dagath update. So when you apply your 4th ability and you lift them all up, and then you can spam your Tempest Barrage, it'll strip their armor, and you have 2 options. You can just shoot them with the Prisma Lens, which is the weapon I'm using. You don't have to use it. Or you can suck them all in by recasting Bastille and causing them to go in the circular area and use Photon Strike, or again, use Prisma Lens. This is a very, very fun setup that has a lot of synergy with all of these mods. Tesla Bank is going to help Archon Stretch, work overtime. Anytime you kill a target, it's going to send out a big burst of electricity to a wide area. Now, I do have 235 range, so that range is bumped from 14 to 18, which doesn't sound like a lot, but depending on where those enemies die, it starts from that point. So it can spread pretty far. And then of course Bastille, bringing them all together, it's going to be really easy to just kind of have those electric procs bounce between targets and whatnot. So very, very fun. You don't need a whole lot of strength on this, even though Bastille does scale off that to determining how many enemies you lift up, but you can always just cast it multiple times and you'll be able to pick up more enemies. Now, I do have Molt Augmented, which is 60% strength at full stack, so that's going to bump it up your strength quite well. So, overextended is kind of where you're getting that lack of strength, so keep that in mind. I also have the duration very low because you are spamming these abilities quite often you don't need to have that much duration. You want to have enough duration for the enemies to actually get their armor stripped before the Bastille collapses. So I think 73 or 70, whatever, is a really, really good sweet spot. Prime sure-footed, you're really going to want this because you're going to be moving around a lot. You don't want to fall on your ass, and your shield gating is destroyed. So Arcane Avenger is a flex arcane. You can put pretty much whatever you want in there. Just kind of depends on how you want to kill these enemies. Now, I have Arcane Avenger just so I have really nice crits with the Prisma Lens. That's a personal choice. And of course, Rolling Guard in place of like Adaptation. We don't have enough shields, and we definitely don't want our health to be touched at all to really benefit from Adaptation. So Rolling Guard is going to be very helpful for clearing those status effects, and it's going to just provide more time in case you run out of energy somehow, whatever. The only flex mod in here I would say is probably Prime Flow. Because we have Tempest Barrage, you are actually open to inserting Viral Tempest, which is AoE corrosive and viral applied to Tempest Barrage, which could be really nice if you're facing specific factions. If you find yourself you don't need that much energy, 225 is pretty solid, especially with Equilibrium. So it's up to you exactly what you want. Also, Archon Stretch, you're going to be getting your energy back pretty often. And if you have Zenarek installed on your operator, that's a whole nother way of getting energy. So this is a kind of a flex mod. You can pretty much put whatever you want in there. If you do one more Forma, making it 6, you can even add some whatever Umbral mod you want in there too. Like Intensify if you want to have more strength so that you can carry more enemies in a single Bastille. That is totally up to you. Now for Archon Shards, I don't actually have any for Vauban heimer. If you were to put some in there, I would put maybe blue ones to up your energy if you don't want to run Prime Flow. Obviously orange casting speed is going to be really nice since this is an ability spam build. Or you could even put some more ability strength, the red ones. It's going to come down to preference, but I do not have any in here currently, so don't worry about needing specific shards for this build. This is all you need. And as far as my weapon of choice, I'm actually using the Prisma Lens. Now, with critical delay, you will reach 150% critical chance, and with Arcane Avenger, you're going to add 45, which is going to bring you to 195. Very, very close to 200, which would net you reds. If you had a Riven, you could hit reds easily, but I use this just so that I can fit everything else, plus, get damage and viral. It's really, really nice. The only weird thing about this build is I'm actually using Primary Frostbite because Prisma Lens has forced cold procs. So you've got Heat, Viral, Impact, and Blast, and Cold, which is going to give you a big bump to your multi-shot and critical damage, and you already have 7.8, which is really, really nice. So I've got Galvanized Chamber for more multi-shot. Prime Shred is really nice, obviously, for the fire rate. It's going to be 110% for bows. And then the punch through is really interesting. Sometimes it's hard to get it to happen, but if you shoot the Prisma Lens in a certain way, the big sphere that is spawned for the explosion can actually, because there's actually 2 in there, if the multi-shot goes off, if you actually aim it at an enemy in a certain way and the punch through activates, you can actually have a wider area because the spheres will disconnect from each other, and you'll have them side by side rather than within each other, which is really cool. Of course, Hunter Munitions, you have so much critical chance, you have to run this. And then Hammer Shot. Now, Galvanized Aptitude doesn't work with AoE weapons, so we're putting in Hammer Shot. If you want to put something else in there, you don't like this build, whatever. If you don't have a Riven, just try to fit Viral in here instead. Maybe take off Heat and just have normal Viral. Now for the Companion, this is actually one you guys brought up in my last video, the Caliban video, and how good Nautilus is. And you guys are right. This is actually really, really fun, really, really good. We've got the Boobin build. And this is what it is. Synth Fiber, you got Equilibrium going on. That's gonna help give you some nice armor for your what's it called? Companion. And then Manifold Bond and Vicious Bond. These 2 things are really nice for the armor stripping. I mean, you're armor stripping with Vauban already, but this actually kind of helps a little bit, especially when you have Assault installed, right? It's gonna feed into the attacks very quickly, and you are applying so many statuses thanks to Vauban's abilities and his weapons. Um, you are going to be reducing that cooldown very, very quickly, which allows Corden to proc very, very fast. It's going to have a really fast uptime. I think it's around 7-8 seconds instead of the 15. Just kind of depends on how fast you can kill these enemies. For the weapon, I am actually using the Hellstrom. That is just because of the missiles and the high status chance. And of course, we've got heat viral. Now, we already have that on quite a few things. If you want to replace that with maybe gas procs, I mean, again, it all depends on the faction you're going up against. But this build will work on any faction, period. And then lastly, like I said, this does a lot of status too. You've got electric, you've got corrosive. If you take off prime flow and put his augment, viral tempest, there's a viral there. His other abilities, this does blast, this does magnetic, and then you've got your prisma lens or weapon of choice. You've got more heat, more viral, blast, and then of course with the prisma lens it is force cold. So there's a lot of statuses going on. The only thing I would say that this build might kind of struggle with is potentially acolytes, which is why I'm running the glaive prime. If you throw the glaive prime and detonate it like 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, the acolyte will die to slash procs. This is the build I have. This does have a ribbon. I don't think it's very good, so I just used it for the crit chance, and obviously for the heavy attacks, which is what you're doing, it's pretty good. You get some orange red crits in there, no problem. All right, let's actually showcase this. Now, I did obviously show it at the beginning, but again, kind of how it would look is Nautilus would pull them in. You would apply this. I can't move. I'm actually trapped. Hello, this is actually hilarious. I can't. Guys, I need an adult. There we go. Yep, it just strips all their armor. Alright, let's try that again. So Nautilus is going to pull them in. We're going to apply Bastille. We're going to hit them with the Tesla Nervos, which is going to apply some shocks after they die, of course. You can spam however many times you want. It's going to strip their armor, pull them in, and explode. Now, if you want to use this 3, you can. You absolutely don't need to spam it that much, but it is nice backup if you're out of ammo for the Prisma Lens, which is a kind of a drawback using this weapon. You're going to need to have some sort of ammo mutation in order to avoid that, but that does come in clutch if you, for some reason, can't get ammo to spawn. But again, strip their armor thanks to viral, Corrosive Tempest, Tempest Barrage, and yep. Just blow them up, Vauban heimer. And of course you've got rolling guard, shield gating, everything you need. They're gonna get pulled in here. Throw your 3. They're all dead. Just like that. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Just like last video, I'm just going to show off the fashion for Vauban in case people were curious and wanted to look like this. I'm actually quite proud of this one. I think it looks really, really nice. We got the Haro Noble set, but just to reiterate something I said in the last video, I actually just recently hit 2,000 subs. So again, big shout out to you guys for continuing to watch my content. Views have been up quite recently, and I really, really appreciate that. It drives me to make better and better content when I know that you guys definitely want to tune in and watch it. So big shout out again. Really, really appreciate all the love and support I get and see in the comments. Again, Vauban was a poll Warframe that I went ahead and made a video on, so I'll do more polls in the future in case, you know, people want to see more specific frames. Within the last poll, I went ahead and chose either Banshee, Ureli, or Vauban, so I think the next one will just be Banshee or Ureli. We'll see who edges each other out in the next one. I'll probably make a video on one of those two probably this weekend or maybe a little bit sooner, but Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and this is your first video watching me, go ahead and click subscribe. I make Warframe content pretty regularly and I enjoy doing so. If you got questions or comments or opinions, leave them in the comments section. I'm very, very prominent in that area, so if you guys want to talk to me, you can reach out to me, community tab, or one of the comment section of my videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.